Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to be discussing the altcoin season, right? Is it going to happen now, or is there going to be one more move on Bitcoin, one more Bitcoin season move to the upside before altcoins really start to pop off? And this is where we get into big questions such as obviously the Bitcoin dominance chart, the total 3 cryptocurrency market cap chart, but also the Ethereum spot ETFs. Now, you guys remember Bitcoin spot ETFs, of course, they were a huge narrative for a long period of time. They still kind of are a huge narrative, but the Ethereum ETF deadlines are actually approaching very shortly, and that will definitely change the market dynamic quite a bit, in my opinion. So before we get into any of these things today, go ahead and check out the VIP group on Telegram. Guys, we do altcoin trading signals on the VIP group, 3 to 4 signals a week. You also get access to a group chat, okay, with 24/7 market discussion with other VIP members, an exclusive community there. All of the trading results is available in a PDF document. Very profitable stuff. Check that out if you're interested in altcoin trading signals. Now let's get into the content straight away. I don't necessarily know where the best place to start this video will be, but I promise you I'll get through all the content to a sufficient degree, and hopefully you'll understand the situation a little bit better by the end of the video. I'll try to keep it relatively short. So we're going to start off with the Bitcoin dominance chart. Right? We're going to talk about Ethereum ETFs and stuff like that in a second here, but I think you need to understand the Bitcoin dominance chart first and foremost before you can really understand anything else. Now, what is the Bitcoin dominance chart? Okay, Bitcoin dominance chart is a chart that very much, as per the name, measures the strength of Bitcoin in relation to altcoins in a percentage format. So currently it's at 15%, and that means that, 55%, and that means that 55% of the money in cryptocurrency is in Bitcoin, and the remaining 45% is in altcoins. So obviously when this chart moves upwards, like it did, for example, over here over the last basically 2 years since 2022, it means that we're seeing a Bitcoin dominant market. We're seeing a Bitcoin season. That's a period of time where Bitcoin outperforms altcoins. And when this chart moves downwards, like it did, for example, over here in the 2021 bull market, the 2017 bull market, and any bull market the crypto market's ever seen, really, that's an altcoin season. Okay, that's when altcoins outperform Bitcoin. So this chart moving upwards is great for Bitcoin. Well, it's great for the market in general, usually. It really depends on the time of, the time you're in. For example, right, when we move down on this chart massively, it represents an altcoin season. It's not like bad for Bitcoin or anything. It just means that altcoins are outperforming Bitcoin. And generally speaking, this chart only ever moves down in bull markets. It only ever moves up in bear markets and at the start of bull markets. Okay, so basically, when the crypto market is in a bear market, people are flocking into Bitcoin for safety. Okay, they're not touching altcoins because they've just lost all their money on altcoins in the bull market. The market's going down now, so they're going into Bitcoin. They're selling all their altcoins. That's why Bitcoin dominance moves up in a bear market, and it moves downwards in a bull market because people get greedy. Okay, Bitcoin season ends. They see the market's going up. They get used to the upwards price action. They get greedy, and they chuck their money into altcoins at rapid rates. And then obviously when the crypto market tops out, those altcoins tank first. Or heaviest, I should say, and Bitcoin dominance starts rising again. So I hope I've explained that to a sufficient degree. But basically now what we're doing, we're in a transitory period. We're in a period of time where we're still in a Bitcoin season. We're still moving upwards on a macro scale in the Bitcoin dominance chart. But obviously now we're entering a crypto bull market. And so we can expect this Bitcoin dominance chart to reverse at some point. Okay, now the question is, when will that be? I think that it's going to happen before September, okay? And I'll tell you why exactly I think that in a second. It could already have happened right now, but I'm not necessarily convinced of it yet. And I'll tell you why. So let's zoom in for a second, first and foremost. We've done, by the way, the adequate things to confirm that a top could be anytime soon on Bitcoin dominance. For example, we've seen both the halving and Bitcoin breaking out of the prior all-time high from the bull market before this bull market. Historically, there's been 2 things we do before Bitcoin dominance start going down. So we've seen both those things. Right now, we're at resistance. That could be a rejection point. Some people are making the case that that was a Bitcoin dominance top and that Bitcoin dominance should drop from here. I'm not necessarily convinced of that yet. The reason I'm not necessarily convinced of it yet is because of the Ethereum ETFs, okay? Right, Ethereum ETFs are coming very shortly. We have deadlines here on VanEck, ARK, and Hashdex all within this month. But basically, the vast majority of the market is basically agreeing collectively that those are likely to be declined, okay? And we're only likely to see, now that obviously is, we're going off likelihood here, so there's a chance they'll be approved, but generally speaking, the market is agreeing that the approvals are going to be coming in August with Fidelity and BlackRock, okay? So August is when we're expected to see ETF approvals on Ethereum. And we, as per, what happened when we saw ETF Ethereum approvals on Bitcoin, we saw massive surges in Bitcoin dominance, okay? We can expect the same thing to happen with Ethereum. And if we're seeing surges in Ethereum dominance, it's very likely that's going to coincide with surges in altcoin dominance. And it's very likely that could be the trigger for the end of the Bitcoin season and the start of the actual altcoin season, the start of the altcoin season where Bitcoin dominance starts to go downwards and where Ethereum BTC starts to go upwards. Now, Ethereum BTC, as we speak right now, is actually on a major support zone. Okay, and obviously, if this chart bounces here, that's great news, and that will probably trigger the start of the altcoin season. But again, I'm not overly convinced that it will do that because of what's happening with the ETF approvals. I think that an ETF denial on Ethereum will lead to Ethereum BTC to go downwards, and I also think that the short-term evidence, for example, in the last few days when we've seen Bitcoin moving upwards, we've seen Bitcoin move from 57K to around 66K or 67K, up 10,000 USD. In that period of time where we've seen Bitcoin move upwards, we've actually seen Bitcoin dominance move upwards as well. Now, in an altcoin season, that wouldn't be the case. Okay, Bitcoin dominance would be decreasing because if Bitcoin was moving upwards in an altcoin season, altcoins would be outperforming Bitcoin. But this is still showing us that Bitcoin is still actively outperforming altcoins on moves to the upside. So currently, we're still in a Bitcoin season, or at least that's what the short-term price action is indicating. So I'm not overly convinced, really, that the Bitcoin dominance top is quite in yet. But I will say this, for all intensive purposes, on a macro scale, yeah, it basically is, right? Look, as I'm saying, August isn't very far away. August is only 3 months away, 2.5 months away, really. I mean, the ETF approval should be on Ethereum within 2.5 months. I think that is a high likelihood to be the trigger of an altcoin season. And if we're only 2.5 months away for the altcoin season really beginning, how high can Bitcoin dominance really go? I mean, really not that much higher. Let's be real. It could probably maybe reach 58%, maybe 60%, but it's not really going to go that high. So for the most part, I don't think that this should be causing any real disruptions to your altcoin accumulation strategies at all. I think although the top, in my opinion, probably isn't quite in yet, I think it's very, very, very close. And I don't think at this point it's worth really changing any investment strategies because Bitcoin dominance might go up another 2 or 3%. Look, overall, for the most part, and for all intensive purposes, the Bitcoin season is coming to an end, in my opinion. And I think the altcoin season will begin. Now, what will that altcoin season look like? That depends on many, many different factors. It could be very similar to what it was in the last couple of cycles, in which case it would last about 300 days, okay? But if we want to be more particular about it, we could actually say that, well, in the last cycle here, for the most part, yeah, it lasted 300 days, but the majority of the move on Bitcoin dominance actually happened in the first 140 days, okay, which is the first about 4.5 months. Now, if that's going to happen again, say, for example, Bitcoin dominance tops out in August, that would lead, early August, 140 days from that point could lead to a more or less Bitcoin dominance bottom in around December this year. And if we're pushing it to the full 300 days, that would be around May next year. Now, look, there's so many different questions in regards to when Bitcoin and crypto will top in this bull market, what that top will look like. Will it be different from the 4-year cycle? Will it deviate from the 4-year cycle? There's so many different theories and questions that getting too deep into that in this video is just going to jumble up all the information that I'm trying to get across. Basically, all I'm trying to get across to you is this. We have charts very clearly indicating, like the total 3 cryptocurrency market cap chart, that the altcoins basically are ready to go. Okay, crypto as a whole is ready to go. It's on its last real proper step, last real final hurdle before entering that parabolic bull market. I think that the first part of this next leg to the upside probably will be Bitcoin driven, but I think towards the top of that next Bitcoin leg, we will really start to see that shift into an altcoin dominant market, and that's when altcoin season will begin. Now, that's my best guess. But as I'm saying, you have to kind of take it with a grain of salt because Ethereum BTC is very much at a prime bottom location here. It's got a descending channel formation as well as an ascending support line. This is a perfect bottom. I'm just going off this ETF information here and saying, well, if there's an ETF denial for Ethereum, it would make sense for Ethereum to go a bit lower. And also the short-term reaction on the Bitcoin dominance chart based on the short-term move for Bitcoin has led to a uptick. So I would expect that Bitcoin dominance might go a little bit higher as well. But again, if we're talking about the macro scale, for all intensive purposes, the Bitcoin season is coming to an end either now or more likely in a couple of months, which is basically the same as now on a macro scale. Okay, so it's very, very close to ending. And again, I don't think you should be changing any of your, I don't think you should be changing any of your altcoin accumulation strategies just because Bitcoin dominance might go up a couple more percent. It's not really going to have that much of a dramatic effect on altcoins. If anything, this is like a perfect time to really start transitioning into altcoins if you haven't already done so. And I hope you have, by the way, because I've been talking about it for 6 months now. But yeah, I think we're looking quite good in this market in general. Bitcoin's in a pretty healthy position. We want to see Bitcoin get above 67K so it can really start targeting next all-time highs. And Bitcoin dominance on a macro perspective is nearing its top. It might not be there yet. We might go a little bit higher, but it's nearing its top. And that is great news for a regular kind of parabolic bull market and a regular altcoin season. So everything is tracking perfectly. I don't think there's anything really to worry about right now at all. Obviously, if there becomes things to worry about, I'll update you. That's why you should subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can stay updated. But right now, we're kind of on that final leg before that altcoin season begins. And that kind of indicates to me that you guys really need to start preparing if you haven't already done so. So go ahead and do that. Or, take at least heed this information to your own analysis. I'm not saying you should trust my words at face value. I'm just a dude on the internet. And that's how you should treat me, really. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Check out the 3 exchanges for this YouTube channel, okay? So we have BitUnix, we have BitGet, and BingX. I want to give a special shout out and advertisement to BitUnix today because this is a new exchange on Wolves of Crypto. It's global, non-KYC or KYC accessible from anywhere in the world. There's not many exchanges like that anymore. That's why I'm advertising it. And then alternatively, we have BingX and BitGet. All the information for these exchanges can be found down below. They're all very low in trading fees. They've all never been hacked before, which is a great step in the right direction. And with my referral links down below, with all of these exchanges, you will get a 15% trading fee discount with my referral link for life. You can save literally thousands of dollars by doing that. Check out the links below and sign up. It's a very easy process, takes 60 seconds, help the channel a lot. And then finally, we have the Crypto Academy. If you want to learn how to trade, you want to educate yourself on TA and fundamentals and market psychology, this is the place you can do it. A very well-valued course. We've done a very extensive market comparison to other courses. We can tell you this is at least 3x underpriced, at least. So check it out if you're interested, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Cheers.